guys know it is Drunken Chat, son.
Hey, how's it going? It's Drunken Chat Son. I'm your host, Chitlins, Greens, and Cornbread. Happy to be here on the Comic Crusaders Network. The rest of the fellas, they have not arrived yet. They're finishing up with hopefully getting the presents for their mothers, putting it in the stockings or trees or wherever you do for Mother's Day, and getting it all ready. And hopefully, you guys do too, and have happily done something for that special woman in your life. Um, we have no more show. However, what we are looking to is once we get enough folks in here, what we do want to do is we do want to run the muffin wheel. Hopefully, the other guys will be here and with a very special freaking gift. And that'll be it. I see Patrick Mills says, "Yo, hey, how's it going?" He says, "I beat the GT key, and yes, Drunken Sharks, absolutely, freaking." Um, Interesting stuff happening all over the world this weekend. You know, the Pope. We have a new Pope, first American Pope here. And you go, well, what do we care about the first American Pope? Well, actually, for if you are a collector, um, the Tops has already started passing out the photos of the first Tops card for Bobby Prevost, Pope, Leo, or something. I forget what number it is by now. Hey, how's it going? Bullseye Comic Books. Hey, how's it going? Um, let's see, distributor for you, blah blah blah. All right, freaking yep. So we're not gonna wait for the rest of the guys to come on before we start doing some of the stuff. Like the FOC, because this stuff could take pretty long. So let me go ahead and freaking start. Um, this is the stuff that is going to be on this week's FOC. So if you guys want to pay attention and freaking order something, please, this is your last shot to holler at your local comic book shop, let them know what the deal is up. Or if you want to, you can holler at us, and we can try and get you guys hooked up with something. So first this week, there is no Ablaze this week. Ahoy Comics. This one's going to be pretty interesting. There is the Toxie team up, which is with the Toxic Avenger, and Jesus Christ. Specifically says, yes, this is not just some dude. This is Jesus Christ on on a freaking cover right there. And there is a regular cover A for that one, as well as a cover C. Harper backed with a TC card. I'm not exactly sure what the TC card means, but there you go. Next on to Boom. Mouse Guard Dawn of the Black Axe is issue number 3. I really like this other story, Red Before Black number 6, particularly the cover. There is a 1 in 10 for Johnson. Let's see. And then I Heart Skull Crusher number 10, Last Witch Blood and Betrayal number 1. The 1 in 10 is on FOC this week. All right, moving on to Dynamite. Thundercats Powerpuff Girls number 1, not to be mistaken with the free comic book day that just came out this week. And I think once Christopher comes out, we'll probably talk a little bit more about that. Darkwing Duck number 5 is on Prowl. Red Sonja. There was actually some pretty covers for Red Sonja and Army of Darkness this week. And Captain Planet number 1. Space Ghost Johnny Quest Space Quest issue number 3 is going to be on FOC this week. As well as Civil War number 5. There's a pretty good Mark Spears one that's going to be coming out. All right, so here are the ones that I really liked for this particular one was that Captain Planet and the Planeteers issue number 2, that Ben Oliver. That one was actually pretty good. And I forget who did the one on the right. That one's pretty good. Looks like Captain Planet is trying to save Bambi out that mode. Hey, what's going on, Tino73? What's going on? And And then Red Sonja attacks Mars. That one's a pretty good one. um, I really like the art. There's different variations of that one. The colored ones look really good, as well as the Listener, the Pop Listener, excuse me, the Greg Listener one was really good, as well as the Greg Land. Those were really freaking good as well. And I just kind of mixed it up. There we go. There's the Greg Land, and then on the right, that's the black and white version of it. Space Ghost issue number 1, the annual. There was a really good cover by uh, John Matina out there. And then the one on the right, I believe, is a Barron's. Yep, John Barron's. Terminator number 8 is going to be on FOC as well. The first one is, I think it's Shelby. Yep, cover A by Shelby. All right, moving on to Dark Horse Comics. Um, Up on FOC again is Let This One Be a Devil, issue number 4. I really like the cover B by Kalkowski, and then there's the Assassin's Creed, Mirror Sword of Eagles. Also on FOC for Dark Horse is the Christopher Chaos Children of the Night, issue number 1. And the one that I have up front here is the Sweeney Boo cover. Also on FOC is Huck 2. There's a Albuquerque cover, believe it or not. Here is a cover for Let This One Be a Devil. That one's by Kowalski. And Assassin's Creed Mirage, A Sword of Eagles, issue number 3. All right, Distillery under PRH. They're going to be on FOC this week as well. Warm Fusion Only Press. That cover E by Sebastian Fumura is pretty damn good. That's it. Moving on to IDW. Monster High Loch Ness Monster, one shot. And then Star Trek Omega number 1 is going to be on FOC as well. I think this one is the final in this particular chapter. Actually, yeah, it's the ending. It's the beginning of Star Trek Omega, but it's the ending of some other storyline that they had going on. So I'm not tracking exactly where they're going with the story, though. There's your Monster High Loch Ness Monster one shot. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Nation. I really like the cover B by PE. All right, moving on to Keen Spot. Chamberlain's number 2 is going to be on FOC this week. There's some really good covers. I hear people upset that it looks like a lot of them are AI, but hey, as long as they can get the concept across, that's still pretty good. I did like the cover B by Todd Skull. That's the hand. It's like kind of like a greasy hand, like holding the gun. I also like the metal cover, which is the cover D, which is uh, the metal skull, like surrounded by snakes and tentacles, kind of weird. And then I also like to cover E, the hollow foil. That's the um, that's the skull surrounded by the blood. Here we go. Then another one by King Spot is Dread Mutt, issue number 1. I really did like the cover B by Rob Putchek, but I'm pretty sure some people also like the cover D by D. Hosner. All right, here we go with Marvel Comics. This one was pretty much a big doozy. Um, at first, the they had a title that was going to be called the New Thunderbolts, but now it's been revealed as the New Avengers. And they've got several covers for that one. I also got the Runaways #1. That's under the One World Under Doom. Giant Size Dark Phoenix Saga. Marvel Rivals Ignite. It's got some pretty good covers. Giant Size Amazing Spider-Man. Ultimate Black Panther #17. X-Men #16. Eddie Brock Carnage #5. Magic #6. Phoenix #12. Exceptional X-Men #10. Then a pretty good cover for Deadpool Kills Marvel You One Last Time #3. And then Avengers Academy. New Champions #6. Of course, your Star Wars covers. All right, here we go with the new Avengers. My favorite one was probably going to be that's if they don't pop up with something else, is the Stephanie Hans variant with X-23. Derek Chew, the Derek Chew Black Widow variant is also pretty good. As well, there's a Laura Kinney Wolverine variant, and there's a Will Truly character variant with the Hulk. Also, there's the Art of Marvel Studios with Pew on there. Kind of freaked out by the one on the left. It's kind of like a weird Venom like type Rich Reed and Black Bolt. On the right, there's your Black Widow Derek Chew variant. Then there's your on the left, there's your Derek Chew Laura Kinney variant, and on the right, there's your Wolf Chi Lee. Hey, what's going on, Daniel Barry? Then here you go with your giant size Dark Phoenix Saga. Ooh, yeah. There's the the Ivan Talvera. Let's see. See if I can pull that one up. Yeah, because I didn't get that one yet. Let's see. Where is that one's a pretty good one. Only thing is, it's kind of a little bit too S&M. I'm not sure where it's supposed to be going for the story. Giant size. Dark Phoenix. There we go. There we go. There's your giant size Dark Phoenix Saga issue #1. There is a regular trade dress for this one, and then there's also a 150 for this one. Regular price for the trade dress is going to be $4.99. So you can do the math on how much it's going to cost for a 150. Absolutely devastating. Looks like a Zenoscope type deal. But hey, do what you got to do. Then here you go with the Runaways issues #1. The one in the middle, that's one is by Ichikuri, and the one on the right, that's by Peach Momoko. Then there's an Elena Casagrande Wraparound. There's your Nico Minoru variant, and there's a Ricky Yagawa variant as well. Excuse me. One World Under Doom. I really like the one on the left. The only problem is that it really looks like a lot of the Geiger from Image covers. That's the only thing about it. The one in the middle, you know what? I love EM Gist. Love them, love them, love them. And this one is definitely appropriate. The one on the right is interesting because you do have the Doomasaur, but then you also got these other dinosaurs in there that look like Captain Marvel and Iron Man in there. Oh, and there's also a Captain America saur as well. And then this is your One World Under Doom cover A. It came in at the last minute. Looks pretty good. Marvel Rivals. There's a bunch of Peach Momokos, as well as a Stan Sakai, and there's a Tita Tokoro. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, the Toki Tokoro. Yep. As well as a Rookie Yagua, which is the 1 in 25. That wouldn't be this one here on the right. Amazing Spider-Man. I forget who is supposed to be the first appearance in this one. Hey, what's going on? Go ahead. Yep, I forget who is supposed to have the first appearance in this one, but I do see some characters that I may not know exactly who it is on there. So that's Bandit or something like that. I forget who it is. And then there's a Lee Bermejo variant. That's the one on the right. Ultimate Black Panther issue number 17. One on the left is your Yasmin Putri, 1 in 25. Then there's your Ultimate X-Men number 16. There's one in the middle, which is your Peach from Moko. Some beautiful covers. They're still sticking, staying freaky with it. Yep. So the one in the middle, that's your current Howl Ultimate variant. The one on the left, that's the Peach from Moko design variant. That's the 1 in 10. And let me go back to this one. The one on the far right, that's your Miguel Mercado. Here we go with Eddie Brock Carnage issue number 4. This one's being written by Charles Sullivan. I do kind of freaking like it, but I really do kind of like the Juan Feria variant. It's an interesting concept of having Carnage come out of the ground, out of the snow. The only thing that's missing is there's got to be like something that he's actually getting to, but it's still a really good concept for it. All right, Phoenix issue number 12. I really like this Lucas Wernick. Oh, excuse me, is that not? That's not Lucas Wernick. Excuse me, it's the Nito Diaz variant. Then here we go with Magic issue number 6. Excuse me, Villa Lobos has the one in the middle, but the one on the left is not that bad either. All right, it's time. I've been doing pretty good so far, but it's time to not just be good or bad. It's time to be the motherfucking greatest, and to add to the greatness, here we are. Here we are, Sir Christopher the Great. What's going on, baby?
What's up, my man? How you doing?
Shit. Let me tell you what the drink for today is. There's this drink. It's called Chakaka or Chakasa. It's supposed to be pronounced Chakasa, but on the joint, motherfucker says Chakaka, right? It's from Brazil, made out of sugar cane. And you know what? It doesn't smell at all like alcohol at all, man. But it's pretty damn fucking good. This Nuevo Fogo, goddamn, it's got me all fucked up, man. Um, Pretty damn good. But how about you, man? Freaking, we've already started FLC, but I think we had some. Did we have some stuff to talk about today, or what?
I mean, not really. I think we covered most of it. I mean, people that got a chance to watch Thunderbolts, we could definitely run over that real quick because I think last week we were kind of, you know, we didn't really get too in deep with it because some people didn't see it. So we could always run
Hey,
over that. Um, and then of course, Last of Us is going on, but
Last of Us. Don't forget. We also had May the 4th, right? Star Wars, right? So we had I think maybe the penultimate episode of Andor, right? Um, it was Jesus fucking Christ. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and freaking start talking about Thunderbolts.
all right, dude. One thing that I definitely want to talk about is the asterisk. All right, their asterisk, because I know that before they ever changed it and they first announced it with that asterisk next to it, I was just like, okay, I know they're gonna change it because otherwise they wouldn't have put that up there, right? But I want to talk about what they changed it to and what it means going forward. So they changed it to the new Avengers. All right. So reading through past runs of books and all that, right? On separate occasions, we've had all these different teams like the new Avengers and then your classic Avengers, right? So for them to actually call this the new Avengers, I'm loving that dynamic of what they're about to bring into the fray because number one, if you read Secret Wars, then at the end of that, towards really what kicked that story off, all right, was the last incursion, right? So it was the 616 universe versus the Ultimate Universe, right?
Hmm.
And I felt like for the way they set things up so far, I felt like that Ultimate Universe, if it hasn't been named yet, which it hasn't. We just know, okay, well, Beast is there. We know a version of Charles exists there, as well as Binary is there, right? Monica Rambeau's mom. But we never got like an actual definitive title for that universe. So, with the way things are set up right now, I think that,
Wait, you talking about for which universe? Talking about the MCU?
yeah, yeah, all right. So you
So
got
actually, no. So actually, we did, right?
not the MCU universe, but the universe that Monica Rambeau was left in at
Okay,
the end
gotcha,
of the film.
gotcha.
So that universe hasn't necessarily been named yet. So
Okay.
I was just, because the first characters that we saw in that are X-Men characters, right?
Hmm.
Of course, everybody is trying to lean towards it being perhaps the Fox universe, right? Because that's where we've seen some of these X-Men characters. Kelsey Grammer is coming back to play Beast right now. Of course, that's what we got at the end of the Marvels. So it only makes sense that that's the Fox universe. But what if, and I hate to drop it in a what if scenario like this, but what if that is actually the ultimate universe, right? And, they set things up perfectly for those to be the last two worlds that end up colliding. Okay. So that was like one of the first things that I thought about, going through my little rabbit hole of thinking. But when it comes to New Avengers, all right, in New Avengers, I want to say it's the Jonathan Hickman run, of course, where we actually got the time runs out storyline, right? And so by them changing the name to New Avengers, I'm almost 110% sure that Doomsday will be a time runs out scenario. We'll probably get it by having Doom, just like in that run, the parallel of it, where he was going and killing Molecule Mans, right? In
Hmm.
this, they kind of replace Molecule Man with Anchor Beings, right? So
You said with
I
what? You said with anchor babies? What
anchor beings,
the fuck is
that
that?
the concept of anchor beings was loosely described in Deadpool and Wolverine. Okay, so when Paradox was talking to Deadpool and Wolverine, he said that um, the anchor beings for each universe, that if that anchor being were to die, then that timeline withers and dies along
Oh,
with it.
so
He
yeah, looks like they renamed it because that's what a nexus point is. Each
Well,
character
no,
there's like a
Nexus
bunch.
Point is completely different because Nexus Point is Scarlet Witch. She is a Nexus being, but I
So
felt like,
so
you know,
no, so there's different nexus beings. What's his name? Swamp Thing is a nexus being. Yeah,
mhm,
Scarlet Witch is a nexus being. Um, Wraith is a Nexus being. There's different Nexus being depending on which universe and which thing you're freaking doing in the storylines. Yeah, go ahead, continue, man.
but
I get what you're saying.
did they reiterate that into making it like a Nexus Point now? Because if they did, that's kind of like altering, what they already laid in Deadpool and Wolverine. And to my understanding, Paradox was basically saying that when you kill an anchor being and that timeline slowly withers and dies, right? His whole purpose was like, okay, I'm tired of waiting for these timelines to get, die off the natural way. So he thought of himself as speeding up that process, right? So now, that they have basically, in continuity wise, it seems like they basically traded in Molecule Man for these anchor being type characters, right? So the parallel of Doctor Doom, when he in the actual Secret Wars run, he's going from universe to universe killing Molecule Man, right? So with the way they set this up already, now it's kind of like, okay, well, I'm 110% expecting Doom to show up, and whether he knows who the anchor being is already, or if, Doom coming and him tearing shit up, right? Just so happens to kill the anchor being. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Because the only reason why I look at it from that angle is because we had Chris Claremont. I forgot what conference or press he was having, but he discussed things from the Doomsday film that I guess he shouldn't have really, disclosed, right? One of them was Wolverine is supposed to kill somebody extremely important, right? So those are the two candidates that I have up for killing whatever anchor being gets to be revealed. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, when they changed it to New Avengers, though, it made all that make sense to me, you know? And that's more or less my point because, even at the end of that film, they even gave us another kind of like little Easter egg, if you will, from Dark Avengers #1, where you have Norman Osborn, presenting, his new Avengers team to the world, you know, almost mirroring how Contessa introduced the new Avengers to the world, right?
sure.
And this team is kind of made up of, um, I wouldn't necessarily say heroes, kind of like anti-heroes in a way to me, because all of them have pretty shitty pasts. They've really done some really shitty things, and now this is kind of like their redemption starting point, if you will. By taking the
Sure.
moniker of New Avengers. So, um, I was so excited when they start going around and changing the title on the posters and everywhere like that. So, um, I also have been keeping an eye on a few books as well. And if we have time towards the end of the show, then I'll show off a couple of those. And,
Okay.
if people want to go ahead and check that out while they can, then that'd be great.
Okay.
One other thing I want to touch on, dealing with this whole New Avengers thing, right? In New Avengers, you had two characters and really one character. They're both ended up being groups of characters, all right? But Black Swans is one of them. That was one of the groups that was introduced through the New Avengers run. While first we got the Black Swans introductory, which was in issue 1, right? And then we also got the Black Priest. Okay, Now, if you know anything about the Black Priests, then you know the Black Priests in the 616 continuity, they were created in order to keep the multiverse in balance. They were kind
Yeah.
of like the antibody to the universe, so that when shit either became unscaled or misappropriated or any of that shit, then they would be the ones to come along and clean that up.
Yeah.
So one of the main things they were focusing on was incursion points, right? So that's when Doctor Strange ended up taking the helm of the head Black Priest. All right.
Yeah.
Now, they just kind of, I don't know if they like lightweight announced it or just talked about it a little bit, but apparently Doctor Strange 3 is on the horizon, right? And
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken, we have a cast member in there that we don't know what role she's playing, all right? So through the grapevine, and I know Daniel RPK said something also about this a while ago, but apparently they may be casting for the Black Swan character. All right. So I'm really hoping to see if they really use some of these elements in the movies to come. Because I feel like Thunderbolts is Marvel's, well, New Avengers is Marvel's redemption arc right now. You know what I mean? They fucked
Hmm.
up phase 4 and 5. Now, New Avengers is putting them off to a great start where we're getting these old MCU vibes right now, right? So I'm just hoping that they can continue this.
Okay. Okay. Universe X has a question for you. Says, could Monica Rambeau be an anchor being?
You know, I thought about that too, but um I feel like, I don't think she's gonna be the anchor being. The reason being is because um number one, all right. So we already know from Paradox, all right, that if you kill an anchor being, that timeline withers out and dies, right? So what laws like would be in check for her being in that other universe? Like what ripple effect would that cause in the MCU universe, in the main MCU universe that, everything else is taking place in so far, right? With her being in that other universe, I don't know how. First of all, anybody would kill her to begin with, unless Doom has just went and got some type of all powerful great power already and was just killing these super powerful beings. Because you got to remember, like, Monica Rambeau is like an extremely strong person being photon. She can manipulate energy all the way down to the atom. I mean, she literally fixed an incursion wall, basically. She stopped an incursion from fully taking place. You know what I mean? So I don't
Mhm.
see her dying anytime soon, right? Not to say she won't, but I just don't see her dying and causing that ripple effect. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Then he goes on to say, Doctor Doom is going to be Rabam Allah the Great Destroyer.
Indeed, dude. Now that I'm almost banking on, or at least us get some type of iteration of him. I can't remember. I think his first appearance was in either New Avengers 29, or might have been, it's between 29 and 33. And then you have his first cover appearance. So, um, they already have disclosed that Robert Downey Jr. is supposed to be playing multiple roles, including Iron Man. Okay, so it would not surprise me if they do allow him to be the Rabam al allow the Great Destroyer. It would be extremely dope for them to give us that version of Doom.
Right.
Especially right before he gains all this godlike power.
Fantastic Four number 5. No, that's Doctor Doom's. Fuck. All right, whatever.
Word.
Um, let's see what else are they saying. Rambo got ass for days to sway on this work for him. Yeah. Um, What else? What else? What else? But how did you enjoy the movie at all, man, or was it just like,
Mm,
eh?
no, dude, I actually did enjoy it. I didn't feel like it was a Guardians of the Galaxy, um, you know, film for me. Like, cause I think Guardians has been one of my favorites. When it comes to like team movies overall, right? I think that the vibe of those films is kind of like on another level from James Gunn. Now, this was that good old fashioned MCU classic, not a whole lot of extra stuff to look into, but it was just enough to keep not only keep everybody's attention, right? But it was actually good because um I definitely counted more positives than negatives. You know what I mean? One of the negatives I did count though is I did have kind of like a straight feeling throughout the entirety of the movie. You know what I mean? I didn't really get that excitement until really we got to the second post credit scene. Now that's what got me excited because it got my mind going on questions and okay, who's in the rocket, right? Because it could be Fantastic Four and it could not be Fantastic Four. You know what I mean? And
Right.
even seeing that, the first thing that thought was, "Oh no, they're not giving it to us that easy. That's definitely Doom in that rocket." And I think the TVA is going to be the one that saves the Fantastic Four.
Nice. Nice. Okay. Well, I mean, we'll see. I think the thing that kind of messed it up for me and made me not care was the trailers before where they show that um, Sue was pregnant already, and I was like, ah, well, I don't know what the fuck is going on, and who knows, man. But I think what do we have up next for the MCU? I think Ironheart is supposed to be out pretty soon.
Yeah,
I believe that's the
Ironheart
next one,
comes
right?
out, I believe, June 24th or 28th, and I'm still looking forward to that because you do have Baron Sasha Cullen playing a mystery man, in the casting. So in the original casting, he's been on there for like 2 years now.
Mm,
So I have high hopes for Ironheart, not because of Riri herself, not because I want to see the hood, but because you guys already know I want to see Mephisto. Okay, I need Mephisto, bro. They need to add Mephisto to this dynamic because um, even though they may not get to it now, I definitely want to see the dynamic of Doom, his mom, and Mephisto. All right. I want to see that story play out on film. You know what I mean? Like I said, it doesn't
yeah,
have to be now, but at least later, because now you'll at least have all the characters inside the MCU for them to do it.
nice. Um, yeah, man. I think it was all right, man. Freaking, my son enjoyed it, man. It didn't. The only problem is that once you have a good movie like this, and then we're gonna turn back, and then the next project is probably going to be ass.
Well,
Because
dude,
I didn't see much that they could build off from this one.
I'll put it like this. All right, so unfortunately, Ironheart's next up, right? So I can't say that it's gonna be great. I can't say it's gonna be trash, but out of the general audience, it's probably gonna have a low score. A lot of people aren't gonna watch it, just based on who it's about, anyways, right? Because I think that there are a lot of Riri Williams comic book fans, but I just for some reason this actress just doesn't scream Riri to me yet. So far in everything that I've seen her in, I just haven't had that connection with her as Riri Williams. Like, as an example, not the same way that I would see Robert Downey Jr. as Tony, and how we all grew to love that iteration of the character that he gave us. When he died, we all felt that shit, dude. I know I dropped a couple of tears when Tony died. You know what I mean? So I just haven't had a moment to actually connect with that character on screen yet that makes me care about her. You know what I mean? The Wakanda Forever did not do that because
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, they had so
So
many things going on in that film. So
right. So Universe X is saying if they add Mephisto, it will be in human form. Disney don't fucks with the devil. So um, not necessarily true, right? So we've gotten what's the name of that joint? Agatha Harkness. The Agatha Harkness freaking joint, right? His his signature, as well as a few other demons, was all over that freaking thing, right? Um, so we've already got a form of demons already inside the thing, already running muck. Um, what we're waiting on is we're waiting on to say, hey, yeah, that's Mephisto. They're not going to go with that right now necessarily. Um, but his mark is all over the place. Even in She-Hulk, right? Even in She-Hulk, freaking remember what's it, Mandy? Was it Mandy with the Y, but not where you fucking think
hmm
or some shit? And she went to the demon world, and they even showed her coming out of the demon world and everything.
hmm
And she was talking about Jake the goat, right? The goat that was probably the same motherfucking goat that was in uh, Agatha Harkness, possibly,
hmm
right? So they've put the mark of the devil all over the freaking place, but they do have to be careful that they're not like Universe X is saying. They have to be careful that they're not elevating these demons to gods and everything, because yeah, they'll miss that.
Yeah, but
Um,
I mean, not even just that, but I mean, like the character Mephisto, this Red Devil image. You know, people know that Mephisto can come in pretty much any form he wants to, right? But um, we already saw like demonic type characters, like we already seen demon like characters. um Definitely in Agatha Harkness when they were going through all the trials, and the one where it was surrounding the girl with the music and she had to play on the piano, right? And if you remember, they showed us a demon entity in there that is pretty demonic and demonish as you can possibly get. So they've already showed us something like that. So I think like a Red Devil character isn't too bad compared to what they already showed us, you know?
yeah, people will be definitely, it'll so because here's the issue that you got with Disney right now, right? They're still kind of clawing back from its DEI measures, right? And they were definitely freaking supporting the LGBTQ add on your alphabet community, right? Which was absolutely freaking love that forum and everything. But you can't do everything all at once and then later claim that you're the innocence and that you're capturing the innocence of children at the same time, because he's got to either pick one or the other. Either grow with the adults who realize who they are, or keep claiming that you're capturing the innocence of childlike wonder. And they can't do the same thing at once. And then also like, oh yeah, by the way, we've got these demons running around. Oh, and that sometimes they're actually good guys. Yeah, you're not going to be able to pull that off, man. Um, the Universe X says witches and demons is different than having the actual devil on screen. So no, it is not. Absolutely freaking not. Because if you actually go back to the see, here's what's pretty interesting. A lot of people miss um, that as she was walking with her son, right? Um, she was reading a book, and that book was part of the whole demon thing inside the MCU. And if you want to go, oh yeah, that's just a witch's book. No, she was actually also, I can't, doing this sign, which is part of the demonology and Mephisto sign as well. So she was telling you what she was actually freaking reading while she was doing that, and she was letting you know, hey, I'm reading a demon book, right? So yes, the origins of witches, right? They're all over the place, from worship of Hecates and pagan worship and worship of nature and everything. But Agatha Harkness, during her freaking time with her son, and reading the book. She was trying to conjure and try to figure out um, how to conjure and use the power of these demons in order to maybe help her son,
Nine times out of 10.
or there was something else that they were alluding to that she was actually trying to do. Hey, because she was like, "Hey, boys die, right?" But also got to remember that that boy kind of came out of nowhere. So, so uh, it's tricky, and I like the way they played that out.
Well, yeah, and the Agatha show is just the first thing that was solid mentioning Mephisto. There have been other things throughout the MCU in more recent times that kind of points the finger at Mephisto. I mean, even when you go back to the first season of the TVA, right? When Mobius and when we first got introduced to Mobius and he was in that church and he was talking to that little kid, and the little kid was talking about a demon that he just saw. And then
Mm,
if you look up, the stained glass window is a pretty clear depiction of Mephisto to me when you got a guy in a robe with a red face. I
yeah,
mean, it doesn't get any more Mephisto than that. I mean, that
yeah,
was clearly his depiction already shown to
yeah,
us, right?
yeah. I'm with Styles so serious. He says Disney needs to bring that shit in. They got a whole Super Scroll ring around out there at MCU. Buck Wild.
Indeed. Yeah, oh girl. And then definitely I wanted to comment on this.
Which one?
You want to go watch Agatha? Dude, Agatha was a really good show, and I think a lot of people strayed away from it, thinking that it was just like a straight up chick show, and they wouldn't care about it, right? But the MCU did some strong things in there. You know what I mean? Not only did we get introduced to Death, but you finally get Mephisto's name dropped, and the version of Death that we were introduced to
There you
was
go. Make sure you
actually
say that the
a
version
major
of death,
character.
right? Make sure you say that the version of death, right? Because she's not the continuity freaking big death, right? She is maybe a version of death, but not the big death. That's the thing that people were kind of missing there. Um, that's what. Yeah,
Well,
he says that's what I thought it was
I
a
think
chick show.
she still might be, and the reason why I feel like that is because when we got into all these different gods in Thor: Love and Thunder, right? And not only just that, when we got into Moon Knight, and then we start seeing that these gods have avatars running amok on Earth.
Yeah.
Moon Knight is an avatar for a
Hmm.
god. The villain of Moon Knight was running around as an avatar for a god. So, in my personal opinion, I feel like they introduced not only Death as a person that they can actually use in script and use in the story, but that's also the cosmic entity Death. And the reason why I believe that is because in Thor: Love and Thunder, when we actually had the big gore fight at the end between Jane Foster and Thor and Gore the God Butcher, you had all these big heads around, right? So they showed Watu, they showed Death, they showed, if I'm not mistaken, the Living Tribunal, they showed another one of the gods, one of the cosmic beings. They showed him. So I felt like when they showed us that, and then we got this iteration, this version of Death afterwards, I felt like they only did this version so that they can work her into the story, because I think that it may not be a major part of the story coming up, but I do feel like they are going to intertwine Deadpool and this Mistress Death that we met, and we may even get a little nod of Thanos and Death in the future, because they're supposed to have Thanos come back, whether it be from another universe or whatever. But we're supposed to get some
Right.
iteration of
Right.
Thanos.
So that's where it becomes dicey, right? Because you're talking about Thanos. The death that Thanos was messing around with is not necessarily going to be the same death that Deadpool is going to be messing around with, as well as not necessarily going to be the same death that's in Thor. Because remember, Hela is death. right? So, and each planet has their own death. Like you said, there's all types of avatars of death. So they get to mess around with it, and there is a very important storyline that you are kind of alluding to with Death and Thor and the Living Tribunal, because at one point, Death forgets or stops doing her job, right? And as a result, the Living Tribunal comes to her and says, "Hey, what's up? What's the reason why you haven't been doing your job?" And she's like, "I can't." She gives all types of weird fucking excuses. She usually goes, "Okay, fine. Without you doing your freaking job, then the inevitable thing will happen, and then Earth starts to become the Cancer verse, which is a pretty freaking dark thing. Um, let's see.
There's
Universe X
another
is asking, is there musicals during the show? There's chanting, right? Um, yes, there's chanting, and then there's challenges, and one of those challenges was a musical number, but it's a pretty solid musical freaking number. It's not freaking Wizard of Ozzy or any bullshit like that.
yeah.
But that one was a story unto itself. Um,
Yeah,
the
there's no like cheesiness to it at all, you know?
yeah,
Like I
I
think
I would, yeah, if you, in order to catch up, and I think to get it in front of everybody, there is a Wanda Scarlet Witch Rican Viam that's out there that talks about her on the road. I would say read about that, and then go ahead and freaking watch the show, and that'll definitely give you a little bit more perspective on what's actually supposed to be there, what's not there, and it's definitely freaking interesting. If you're freak like me, man, freaking, you're pausing the shit out of everything. Oh, what the fuck is that signal? What the fuck is that signal? You gotta freaking look it up and everything. And it's definitely a good freaking watch and rewatch and pause type of deal. But you don't need to do all that crazy stuff in order to enjoy it.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's definitely not like one of those shows where they have all these cheesy musicals and all that. Nah, dude. The
right.
musicals, dude, you don't even really notice them. They blend in so well to the story and the actual show itself that, you actually enjoy it.
Yeah. Universe X says, I could see Thanos trying to smash on that death character. Absolutely, any one of us would try to smash it. However, the problem is right now is that they've already shipped Death with Agatha Harkness. It's a fucking deal. There are so many non-comic book freaking fans out there that love the show because of the dynamic between Agatha and the Death character. Or what's her name? Rio. Her name was Rio.
Mhm.
There you go, Rio. Um, which is another freaking amazing type reference, right? Because Rio and Death, there's the river Death that leads to actual death, and then there's a female type character in Greek mythology that leads to it. So I think that's where your avatar. Make sure you say make sure we keep saying avatar of death,
Mhm.
and we'll be on the right path. But not saying actual death. We're a
No,
little
I
off
don't.
off
I
base.
don't think that we'll see any actual cosmic entities yet, but we will. And I don't
Well,
necessarily count
no, we've already
multiple.
seen them. No, we've already
Well,
seen them. We've already seen Infinity, right? The little girl became Infinity,
yeah,
right?
but
We're already there. There's no,
I mean,
we're
yeah, but
eventually.
at the same time, like even the little girl, dude, her character doesn't scream infinity to me. It really
Mhm.
screams singularity to me first. You know what
It's
I
the
mean?
same thing. Yep.
But I felt like the type of cosmic characters that I'm saying, like we've already got glimpses of them as we went on through Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness when we're falling through the different universes and we saw the statue of the Living Tribunal. So I was expecting that after we like at least get to Secret Wars, perhaps either wrapping things up or even giving us some of the explanation of things happening now that we may see the actual living tribunal, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. We see, like, I think you've mentioned it. Yeah, we've seen glimpses and shades where it's a quick, um, and I think we'll eventually see the one above all, and then hopefully we'll eventually see the one below all. That'll bring us some great Hulk stuff. Ghetto Head Productions is asking, ain't Death supposed to get dicked down by Thanos? So it was always a drive by Thanos, right? That's why was always doing this crazy stuff, so he could eventually, get with Death. But it was always out of reach. It was always She was always moving the goalpost, right? And imagine, yes, this is what he's supposed to be doing, and as long as he keeps the death rate down, right, he'll eventually get to her, and then she'll eventually be able to relax, right? But then something happens that stops that. Instead of all these people being dead, next thing you know, everybody's back, right? That would be the blip, and everybody blip back. So now she's fucked. Now she's fucked because she had somebody that was actually out there doing the thing and killing everybody, and now it's undone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's not going to freaking happen. And I'm thinking the books it never actually happens. I think he like turned her into a slave one time, but she still wasn't in love with him or anything like that.
Well, yeah, the whole concept of that relationship is that Thanos, the whole thing about him and his killing ways was to impress her. I think even in the movie, post credit scene for maybe it was the Avengers, where it was like to defy is to court death, right? When they were actually talking to Thanos, his little minion was talking to him about how the Avengers just overthrew Loki, and if think that was in that scene, and they said to court death would be unwise or some shit like that. But I like the reference that they made towards it because it did make me think of the history of Death and Thanos in the comics. Because in the comics, as you know, Lucas, he's always tried to court Death and impress her, but he never could. She never shows interest. She never cares. And it's interesting because even recently, in recent times, we had that story actually take another turn for once. And Death was brought back as this girl, and she didn't even know who the fuck she was or what the fuck she was doing. And Thanos came to turn that ass into a stone. All right. And then that's how you we got into the whole Infinity Watch run that we're currently into, where Phil Coulson is Death right now. He's the carrier of the Black Stone right now,
Yeah.
which we really got hinted towards all the way back in 2016. Um, I think it was I know Thanos was on the cover. It was a Thor book. I think it was Thor 6, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So on Thor 6, we got a tease for that like all that time ago, and they've been giving us like little breadcrumbs here and there that basically alludes to that they haven't forgot what they set up originally.
So yeah, man, it was good. I feel like maybe we're getting back on a track to actually pulling out some of these stories from the comics, which is where they got way to fuck off. So should be interesting. Let's move. Any other thoughts before we move on to the next thing?
Um, no, not really. I just wanted to also point out to that post credit scene for New Avengers that the Fantastic Four one, right? Don't automatically assume that it's Fantastic Four in there, and let's keep it pushing. That I think the excitement is coming from not knowing.
Mm, okay, okay.
I mean, of course,
Uh,
we could all chuck it up and just be like, "Oh yeah, well, it's Fantastic Four. Yeah, they finally made it to the MCU." But to me, that's like a given. That's not very interesting to me. But it would be interesting if it was Doctor Doom in that motherfucker.
any good free comic book days pickups? We will get into that a little bit later. We're not ready to talk about all the comics yet, but yeah, we will get into that. Andor, freaking Andor. It was the most mess it was mess. It was a hot mess right up until episode 8, and then because look, I get it. They're trying to get everybody to fall in love with some of these characters. I get it, right? So that when something happens, you actually feel some type of way. Well, they failed in getting me to give a fuck about most of these characters. 'Cause I know most of them are going to be freaking dead, right? By the time the actual shit goes down, and it was just a freaking hot mess. But I will give it to them. Episode 8 was absolutely freaking great. Good stuff, right? Hey, freaking. Because look, for those that aren't tracking what's been happening in Andor right now, the Empire, um, in order to get the Death Star going, they need to mine this particular material. They find out that it's on Gorman, so they want to mine Gorman. But the only thing is to mine Gorman, um, it, everything it's not going to be a livable planet anymore. It's going to be blown half the fuck up, and it's not going to be livable anymore. So they're trying to get the people off of this freaking planet, but they don't want to fucking go. So instead, what they do is they concoct this narrative where the people on Gorman are terrorists, right? And to show the whole world or to show the whole universe that Gorman are a bunch of freaking terrorists. Um, they kind of repress them, repress them, freaking illegal searches, illegal this, doing all this crazy stuff, and then they throw a whole bunch of soldiers that don't know what the heck they're doing until like the middle of it in order to get these guys to a freaking attack. And then it goes exactly the way the Empire thought it was going to go. Absolutely freaking great freaking episode on episode 8. And then episode 9, they fuck it up. And then they try and get us to care about these freaking people again. Like, no, no, keep freaking doing the freaking crazy shit. Keep showing me action. So it was this probably could have been a freaking movie. Just give me a 2 hour freaking movie and then freaking get on with it. Instead of freaking having me wait these freaking episodes for a whole bunch of stuff that I don't care about happening. Right. And then episode 7, I believe it was, they took too much time trying to develop a LGBTQ relationship that just ended up in people dying. Anyways. So I don't know what the fuck. Um yeah, I
I'm
know
not
a lot
gonna
of
lie,
people.
dude.
Yeah.
Andor and Star Wars as a whole. All right. If I'm being honest, and I don't think that I speak for everyone, but I know a nice little majority of us don't give a fuck about anything Star Wars going on right now, except the shit coming up with Darth Maul and Mando and Grogu. That's the only thing like we actually care about. People don't really give a shit about Ahsoka. You know, they only use Ahsoka to get more Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen scenes, and that's it to me. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of like the sad truth of what they let their content like bring us to, because like the only character I really give a shit about is Mando and Grogu at this point.
Yeah. Well, it's weird, right? Because they're doing this whole High Republic thing, and they didn't go into what was going on with the Sith at the time, or that's where they should be going, is pointing us to what was happening with Dark Plagueis, what was happening with Dark Sidious. I- The stuff is kind of explained in the books, but I don't think people will kind of grasp it unless you're putting it in graphic form. And it was some devious, absolute freaking devious shit. They need to explain to people or put it in graphic form what happened with the Sith universities. There's a whole bunch of them, and then all of a sudden they went bye bye during this one great crazy ass fucking battle, right? Um, but instead, what do we get? We get freaking lesbian witches out in the middle of fucking nowhere, and they just end up dying, right? Um, but um, if they may have, if they could have explained more about what's going on with those witches and Dathomir, and that would have given us more lead on into who Asajj Ventress is, because that was one thing that got pulled out on May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. For the new show, it was not a new show. It was like a, and I don't want to say one shot, just a limited series, Star Wars Tales of the Underworld, with the lead in for a couple of the episodes was Asajj Ventress after she's been moved away from the Sith. Um, and it was actually okay, right? Shows her going. People recognize her. Some people don't understand what the fuck she was on, but she's kind of hiding out, right? Um, and it's after she dies, right? So what's his name? Quinlan Voss buries her, right? He fell in love with her. She ends up dying. He buries her, and when he goes away, um, the Night Sisters, they ask her, okay, are you ready to come and have your spirits with us, or do you want to use your aura to like come back? And she said, well, I want to come back. He said, well, if you want to come back, the only thing is you can't be with the dude anymore, right? That's, you're fucked, right? So she decides to come back anyway, and then that's what happens afterward. We do get introduced to a new Jedi. His name is Lycos. I think his first mention was in like Dark Disciple or something like that. So it's gonna be interesting to see how he develops. But it was not freaking bad for Star Wars fans. Like if you were a Star Wars book fan, this is the shit for you, right? Because you'll get all the little hints and everything. But if you're not, if you're just a movie casual, you're not going to give a fuck about this. You're not going to know who Asaji. You're not going to know who Fentress is. You're not going to know who Voss is. You're not going to give a fuck about any of these fucking people. And the action is not freaking good enough for anybody. Maybe, yeah, yeah. So fuck this shit. Um, but at least we had something for the May the 4th. I can say that. That was good.
Yeah.
But the first 10 minutes, we're like, hey, she got brought back. It was like, oh shit, what the fuck? Okay, she can do that. All right, that's fucking cool. And after that, I was like, all right, I don't give a fuck about this shit anymore. So, good stuff. Okay, yeah. So after that, before you came on, I was actually talking to started on the FOC. But let's start talking about Free Comic Book Day, man. What did you think? What was your hitters? Or was there any
Um,
big hits? I'm not sure. Like,
I mean, like I haven't checked like on any price listing, but I definitely know the ones that I had to pick up, and for what reasons. The hardest one to obtain was actually a couple. So the Black Mirror was out of there, dude. That shit was gone quickly. The Def Leppard book was also uh another one that was hard to get. You know what I mean? Like that people were on that shit early. They showed up to the shops at the crack of opening
you
looking
said
for
which
that
one?
specifically. There
You
was
said which
two.
one?
There was a Def Leopard. I think it's
Okay.
called Hysteria or Hysteria. Yeah, some it. I know it's a Def Leppard book, but I
Yeah.
know I was trying to track it down, and I had a little difficult time tracking it down. So I had to actually see if someone could order it for me and to see if it was still in stock. So um, that's the
Well,
book
let's
I'm
see.
talking about next to the gargoyles and next to the Jedi, right in the middle. All right. So this is the
I
one I'm
didn't get
talking
this one.
about.
Let's see. Add to cart.
All right. So that one was a hard one to find. Um, the other one was the anime book and the Black Mirror book. There's an anime book
Yeah.
that has
Here's.
not that one. I got that one. That one has a beautiful spread in the middle of it. By the way, um, keep going.
Okay. Yep. Here's the Black Mirror book. It's still in
Yeah, there
stock.
goes. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
I
So if
still need.
anybody needs the Black Mirror book, please hit me up on my Instagram. Chillins Greens and Cornbread. because I can still order this.
All right, that because that was hot. Then also, that one, the one right there on the right,
Kind of,
not the
yeah.
Mind
I'm
Corp.
just,
Even though
yeah. I'm just kind of
that was
shocked.
gone too.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that people didn't go crazy over that one. The single unit
Yeah.
Kagurabachi,
So in this book
and two
is
blue
supposed to be
vortex.
the first appearance of Baruto in a standard size comic.
Mm.
Um, so that one, and also just by the way, Lucas, that Minecraft that you were just on,
Hmm.
what I was told is people showed up bright and early for that one too, and they were all gone. And Minecraft did
It's still in
amazing.
stock.
So yeah, and you know what? I'm just kind of surprised at that because um, you're gonna be able to tell which ones are selling pretty good because they probably shouldn't be in stock anymore. But also that 20th anniversary Boom book was a little difficult to come across. Not a lot of people ordered it, and
An
then
exclusive. And VR Troopers. That one's still in stock. Um, this would. I'm not sure if this is their first appearance, but it's the appearance before their actual book comes out.
yeah, it's not their first appearance, but it's where the
Oh yeah,
writer,
original 1995 comic. Okay.
yeah. So the new one that's getting ready to come out, I think they already have been introduced in, if I'm not mistaken, Power Rangers. But I know they had some type of crossover with Power Rangers already,
Yeah.
and
Look at
that
this
too,
one. This
that
Post
Post
Malone
Malone
sold
one,
out.
yeah,
Yeah. I've got copies. If anybody needs them, I got copies in hand. So let me know if you guys need some. Price before discount $12. So that's probably. Uh, I've got some copies of this one. This one is sold out. The Mark Spears Monsters. This one didn't sell out till after Wednesday. Believe it or not.
yeah. And that Diablo, I was wondering about that because they said people were on that early too,
Yeah. I don't. I didn't even get any copies of this one. I
and it
wasn't even
sold
aware of
out.
that one. Yeah, it's sold out.
Yeah, so that's one of the money books right there for sure. Um, Now, besides like these, there was some with some first appearances. If you want to get into that, one of them.
It's
This
the only
was
one that matters. The worst Transformer ever. Ballpoint.
did that one do
uh,
good or something? Is it sold out?
no. Wow. Yeah, it hasn't even shipped yet.
Wow, it hadn't shipped yet. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
it hasn't shipped yet.
The crazy part about that is I got access to bundles of those right now. Like I can go get a few bundles of that one specifically.
Really.
But yeah, the ones that I did not get at all and I have to order is everyone that I'm mentioning to you like right now cuz those were he had plenty of those. Um but I also picked up that Speed Racer um because if I'm not mistaken, I believe he has the number 1 coming up. Um I was going to post the original one too, but I'm getting
This
around to doing it.
this Valiant
I didn't even.
universe looks pretty good.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, it's not.
Um,
It's canceled. Huh.
yeah, I was just about to say I remember them talking about it when they first put it up, but I think something happened to it because I never saw any physical copies of that.
Yeah. What was the first appearances that you were talking about?
All right,
Because I remember the worst bot
hold on,
ever.
go back down. Did I miss that line? Go down a little bit more. Okay, no. All right, cool. Um, go up, look for Spider Man, his amazing friends, and that Hulk, that right there. So this had, I think it was a double first appearance, but I know one of the characters was Iron Pup. Just in case they ever into it, do something with that. It was definitely a first appearance in here. And then,
Okay.
um, let's see, from there, the Marvel voices. I thought that it was a new character in it, but I think I'm mistaken, and I haven't gotten a chance to read it because at first I had people tell me, "Oh yeah, it's a new Ghost Rider in it," but then it turned out to be Phantasma when I started flicking through it. So that didn't make it worth my while to chase. I do have a couple, but there's nothing to me as significant. But I could have missed it because I didn't read it. I just flicked through it and I was expecting like a brand new Ghost Rider, but it actually ended up being Phantasma, which is the girl from the cover of Ghost Rider number 19, the new Champions variant, and then of course Ghost Rider, um, the Robbie Reyes special number 1, which is her first full appearance. But also there was another one. Go up to the Cat in the Hat book. There's a Cat in the Hat or Dr. Seuss book up there somewhere.
Let me be down.
Because in this book, it was actually the first appearance of if I think Dr. Seuss, um, the Grinch, and Cat in the Hat in a standard size comic book as
Oh,
well.
here we go. And this one sold out.
Dude, what you know what? You know what's crazy is like, is it a different cover than that? Because I definitely have a Dr. Seuss book that was a free comic book day book, but that's not the cover.
Yeah, it says cover art not final down at the bottom.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, because it's a completely different cover. But yeah, that's their first appearance. You said it sold out.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the first appearance of all three of them in a standard size comic book. Back up, Fantastic Four. There was the first appearance of Wolverpool and Dead Vereen. So there's actually two characters, two first appearances of these Deadpool Wolverine mashup characters in this Fantastic Four as well. Sold out, or they have plenty? I'm pretty sure they.
Yeah, they got plenty.
Yeah.
Let's see, is it in here? Ah, okay. Anything else? Oh, Nickelodeon Avatar: The Last Airbender was in this Young Jedi Adventures. Interesting.
And Lucas, do you know if any of those characters are on the front of this? New characters?
No, they're old characters, except for maybe the little robot. I would have to check on the little robot, but all those they've been in Young Jedi's Adventures comic book before.
Okay. I was able to get a couple of them, but I didn't go too heavy on it because I didn't know. We all know how that last Avatar book went, or that last Star Wars Edge of Balance, or whatever it was.
Right, right, right. All right, let's quickly go through the FOC, and then I don't know what the fuck happened with the shit I sent you for the other ones, the new releases and shit.
Yeah.
But I just looked through it today, and it was just a bunch of like numbers and letters and shit, not actual slides. I don't know what the fuck happened.
Yeah,
Uh,
dude, because I tried to go to it in like maybe three different ways, and it kept doing the error thing every time. So I was like, all right, fuck it. If it's still not working, then we can just go to that site and then just go down shit like we did last week.
yeah. Okay. For FOC, Ahoy Comics had Toxic Team Up number one with Jesus Christ, the Son of God, on the freaking cover. But there's two versions. There's a cover A Harbor, and then there's one that's cover C, which is bagged with something called a TC card. Not exactly sure what that is.
The only thing that this is missing right now is a GIF or slide in the next one of serving Mike.
Okay.
dude, that he be screaming. I like the guy. He be screaming Jesus Christ and doing all the breakdance and shit, dude. Every time I see this book now, I think of him.
Okay, fucking hey, everybody's got their thing, right? If you want to scream his name to the top of your lungs, you go on ahead.
No, it's just hilarious because dude, like I guess dude is like a reformed, I guess a
S-
reformed guy, right?
mhm.
And he made a living off of you know doing that, which is like hilarious to me. So now every time I like when you showed us this in the chat, I think it was another cover you showed us in the chat, or at least that it was coming up, right? And I had mentioned dude just because like every time I see it now, I think of this, I think of that dude for these books.
All right. For Boom, Mouse Guard, and Red Before Black, number 6. I Heart, Skull Crusher, and Last Witchblood. I thought that was pretty interesting for Last Witchblood. Dynamite, Thundercats, Powerpuff Girls, number 1, which is kind of interesting because we just had the free comic book day version for that one. I do like the Boldari. There's some Duck books coming out. Red Sonja, a lot of Spears books, but I do like the Captain Planet books and the Space Quest books, and I'll show that coming up. Bam. All right, here we go. This one is the one on the left. That's a Ben Oliver, man. It looks like they're trying to make Captain Planet this Savage type, sexy, freaking hipster fucking dude. With the freaking the pouty lips and the fucking mousse and the fucking hair. They're trying to make Captain Planet like daddy sexy. I get it. I get it. I mean, this may not be for us dudes. This might be for the ladies. You know what? And I'm on that train. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's make Captain Planet a little sexy, right? Instead of some freaking weird beatnik that only wears fucking clogs and freaking sandals everywhere. Yeah, let's go ahead and make Captain Planet a little freaking sexy and shit. I get that. Then the Red Sonja attacks Mars looks pretty good. The Listener is going to be good. You should see it in freaking color, which I don't have it here. Um, and then there's a Greg Land. That one's pretty freaking good.
Yeah, Greg Lands have been knocking it out of the park with these, right? They've been looking pretty nice, and all of these have done pretty well too, as well.
Space Ghost Annual. That's number 1. The one on the left is your Matina, and then the one on the right is your Bjorn Barons.
Yeah, dude.
Terminator number 8, cover A, looks pretty damn good. The rest are kind of ass. I wasn't feeling them. Dark Horse Comics. Uh, they got a couple that actually look pretty good. Christopher Chaos, Children of the Night, Sweeney Boo,
That's pretty dope.
Huck 2 by Albuquerque. And then this one is a newcomer, but by James Tinian. But we're on issue number 4. Let this one be a devil. And I really like the Kowalski variant.
Yeah, dude, that's dope too. That one's definitely gonna sell.
It just these comic book companies they got to be careful, man, because if all these covers are all fucking devils, they're all fucking devils. I mean, you're gonna have some issues. Assassin's Creed Mirage, a Soar of Eagles. All right, here we go by Distillery. I think there was only one that I really pulled out. If you want to see the original of this one, the colored one, um, the cover E by Sebastian Fayamura looks really good, kind of gnarly. IDW, Monster High, Lackless Monster, as well as Star Trek Omega number 1. And the Star Trek Omega 1 is kind of like the end of this other storyline that they had going on and the beginning of a new one. But the Monster High looks pretty freaking good. And I gotta say, man, I like this Monster High. It seems to be like pretty big shit because they got all types of stuff going on. They got a TV thing, they got a movie thing happening. They got these toys and shit, and people have been buying the shit out of fucking toys.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's probably gonna do well, because I know that they usually sell out pretty quickly too. A lot of times these Monster High books aren't easy to come across all the time, so definitely put it on your pool.
Yeah. And it looks like this is the first appearance of this one particular character, the one on the left. Their original appearance was in the book, originally published in "I Only Have Every an Eye for You." And there's your Star Trek Omega books. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Nation. The one I like is the cover B by PE. There's also a 1 in 10. Keen Spot. Chamberlain's one that actually did pretty well, but now we're on issue number two. I like a bunch of these covers to include the cover B by Todd Skull. That's the one with the freaking hand. In fact, let me go ahead and pull it up. The one in the middle, the one with the hand and the gun, I really like that one. Shit, that could be my freaking album cover for my music. And then the one on the left, really like that one. That is the cover D metal cover with the snakes and the tentacles going around. But then I also like this one could be a T-shirt, man. The cover E hollow foil. That's the one with the skull and with the red sun in the background.
Yeah, I think it's fire, dude. So that's gonna be a flip. I wonder what the other side is going to be. Is it gonna be the A cover or?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Either way, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be dope. I'm definitely gonna pick one up.
Kingspot also has an issue number one called Dread Mutt. I really like the one on the left. That's by Putsy Putchak. I think they probably should have made that one a little bit of foil, but still looks like a pretty good damn cover. And then also the cover D by Hausner ain't too bad either.
Yeah, I actually like both of them, to be honest. And I think, I don't know, dude. For some reason, seeing some of these pictures like on the computer doesn't really do justice for them when you get them in person. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's been a couple of times where I've seen books and on the screen, I wasn't that drawn to it, but damn, I see it in hand and I want like four of them. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it definitely gives off those vibes to me for the cover on the right.
yeah. Comic books are like women, man. You can look at them on the screen all day, but once you get it in hand, it's a different freaking story.
Amen. Yeah, definitely.
Marvel Comics. This one was an interesting story, like we were just talking about with the change. Originally, these were called the New Thunderbolts, but now they've been changed to the New Avengers. Giant size Dark Phoenix Saga number one is going to be up. It's got some interesting covers as well as the Runaways in One World Under Doom that we'll go through real quickly. Marvel Rivals Ignite. Yeah, I think I have. Yep. So there we go. New Avengers number one. The Stephanie Hans looks really good. And then on the right, I don't know why they're spoiling it because it's supposed to be a spoiler homage, but they've already spoiled it at FOC. Um, it's crazy. It's called the Wilsey Sportatio spoiler homage. That's the one in the middle. Right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, bro. This whole thing with this new Avengers thing, like, I just want people to take note how they did something worldwide for the screen because, all right, we've been going into this Thunderbolts movie for what, the last year or so, right? But then they hurry up and switch it to New Avengers, and then they mirrored that in the comics. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I want people to recognize that it's only one guy that's over all this fucking content. And I definitely believe that they know what they're doing, because for them to have this run be the new Thunderbolts and then get changed just like they did for the film, that shows me recognition of the parallel between the films we're watching in the theaters and the comics. All right, because
Yeah.
like I said, that change happened as soon as the movie came out. With the post-credit scene, right? Or with Val introducing them, right? But I'm just saying in general, the change that happened so fast, the parallels of it between the films and the comics. You know what I mean? Because they also mix some of the storyline from some of the things that we've seen in the MCU into the current or now ending TVA run. All right. So I
Yeah.
just want to point that out for people.
Universe X says he likes these Avengers covers. Yep, and I like the fact that they kept the incentives low because this new Avengers is a 1 in 25 for that 70 hands. And then there is a 1 in 10, which is interesting, but it's just a logo cover. So we'll see what's going on with that one. But yeah, so the one on the left, that's the Illuminati cover, which a weird broken down Reed Richards, and then the one in the middle that's your Art of Marvel Studios with Pew. I would definitely try think about grabbing that one so you can, if you happen to see her at a Comic Con or anything like that, you can get her try and get her to sign it. And then the one on the right that's a new Avengers Derek Chew, but
And
that's
then
the Black Widow variant. And then there is the Laura Kinney Derek Chew variant. And then the one in the middle, hold on, let
hold
me
on,
look back at my
the one
notes.
you just showed with the one on the left, right there, yeah, that's supposed to be Bolt. That's what they're calling this variation, and then that variation of that Reed Richards, that's not Reed Richards. That's Mister Ouroboros. So yeah, dude, I kind
Fuck
of
that.
I was
It's
like,
terrifying.
where are they going with this? I kind of like it. You know what I mean? Um, I think that's kind of dope. I just wanted to mention that because I saw it earlier and I was like, all right, so you're doing Mr. or Boris. Like, that's very interesting. Where the fuck are you going with that? And I think the spoiler cover, the one that you were talking about a few seconds ago, I think that is the spoiler Kill Illuminati cover because apparently inside this book is going to be the first appearance of the Kill Illuminati. That is the Kill Illuminati on that cover, and that was something that Marvel said, if I'm not mistaken.
Weird. Yeah, because if you, I don't, you probably can't see it, but on the right, that's exactly how they have all the stuff labeled. They have the one in the middle labeled as the Will C. Portesio spoiler homage, and then the one on the left, that one is the Jose Maria Illuminati cover. So weird. Maybe, hey, maybe Diamond fucking
They
up.
probably flip flopped it because I saw it online, and when I saw the this one on the left, you know, it said Bolt and then Mister Ouroboros, like as if it was Mister Fantastic, but Mister Ouroboros. So
Yeah.
maybe they're doing something with it. I don't know.
Yeah, there was your Laura Kinney. Then there's your in the middle. There's your Ejikuri variant, and
Fuck.
then the one on the right with the Hulk. That is a Wool Lee variant.
I mean, what the
I
fuck
think
is
it's
that?
the first cover with Marvel. I think that's supposed to be. Moving on to Giant Size Dark Phoenix Saga. That one's cover A, and then there's your 1 in 25 Rod Rice. And I did have the Evan Tulliver up before. Let me pull that up again for you. Let's see.
And that New Avengers, that was like 7 or 8 covers for the number one.
Yeah, these motherfuckers are tripping.
Yeah, the best one that I've seen released so far is for number two. That Guru Strange cover is fucking dope.
Let's see, this is called a giant size. Yeah, that's the 125, and here is the 150. Here you go.
Fire. This cover is so fucking good, dude. I like this a lot.
I don't because it looks too much like a
Still,
Xenoscope cover. It looks too much like a Xenoscope cover.
you know what? Now that you say that, you just fucked it up for me. And now, yes, it does look like a Xenoscope cover. And it did change how much I like it too. Okay, You know, are you
Yeah.
fucking satisfied, Lucas? All
Yeah,
right.
because I don't want Marvel to do this. I like the hint of a little freak. I don't want them to go full freak. Look, you put old girl in a full fucking bustier with the fucking whip, and DC has already been doing that shit with fucking Catwoman. Marvel does not need to be doing it. Look, they even got a little fucking spiked dog collar around her fucking neck. What the fuck, you know?
Yeah, dude.
Um, and with no type of context that this is supposed to be some type of fucking superhero. What are we doing?
Yeah,
The fuck are we doing?
yeah. I see where you're going with that. But you know, for some reason, I still think it may do well. I still think people might buy this shit.
Oh, I'm gonna get it. I'm, and and gotta remember, there's the only problem is that there's um the regular cover. It's a trade dress. There's a trade dress, right? So I could probably get away easily with just buying 25 of the trade dress, and then just get me one of the 1 in 50.
Yeah,
So
Chad Cave. He said, "The fuck is wrong with Zenoscope coverage? Don't make me click this thumbs down."
hey, go
And
ahead.
you know what?
Click that thumbs down. At least we have some type of engagement. Um, and then there's a Stephanie Hans giant size Dark Phoenix Saga spoiler. So we don't even know what that shit looks like yet. Problem is, it's 4.99. So do the fucking math on that one. All right, here we go with Runaways for the One World Under Doom. Love this. I love the concept. Love the fucking concept because while Doom, he's out there trying to rule the fucking world, right? And people, he's not just going after like happy people. He's going after the malcontents. He's going after the people that are on the fringe of fucking life. And who better to go after than the fucking runaways? The people that are malcontent and pissed off at their fucking parents. Fucking love this fucking concept, right? The one in the middle, absolutely fucking banger. This is what I this is what I mean by a hint of sexiness. This is going full on fucking 304. The Asian curry variant, I love it. Right? Not quite full. Um, I forget the name, Emma Frost, right? Um, but still freaking absolutely freaking lovely. And then the one on the right, that's your Peach Momoko doing
Who's
crazy stuff
the
as
one in the
always.
middle?
See the one in the middle? Yeah, that's the Ija Curry.
All right, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fire. I like that.
The this one is the Elena Casgrande wraparound,
And that's not an incentive. That's a regular cover.
regular cover, and
That's the one right there.
yeah, and for those wondering, that is his son. That is not. This is not Doom. This is Doom's son. So keep that in mind. I'm trying to remember who did that one. Not sure who did this one, but there we go. There's a Nico Minoru joint, and then on one on the right, that's your Ricky Yagawa. One World Under Doom, issue number 5. I love each and every one of these freaking covers. The only thing that messes it up for me is that the one on the left, I had just started putting this together as I was actually looking at a fucking Geiger cover. And it looks too much like freaking Geiger. That's the thing that freaking pisses me off. The one in the middle, that's EM Just. I am a EM Just stan. I will always buy EM Just freaking cover. And then the one on the right is kind of interesting because you still have Dumasaur, but it's kind of hidden in the background, and people might miss it unless you listen to this freaking unless you listen to this podcast. Is that there is a Captain Marvel Asar dinosaur, and there's a Iron Man dinosaur, and then way in the back there's also a Captain America dinosaur as well.
That damn near looks like an iteration of a Fing Fang Foom Iron Man to a degree.
Yeah. Um, Universe X says, "Damn, I can't unsee Geiger now." Yep. And trying to remember. I think I am pulling up some stuff. one Geiger, I think later on. Um, Kind of interesting stuff. Yeah, One World Under Doom, just your cover A. Then Marvel Rivals, a couple of Peach Momokos. And I think that one's a 1 in 25. Is that Ricky Yagawa?
Um,
Yeah, I think that's Ricky Yagawa. I think I see the signature right there.
yeah, that's fire.
And then there's your Steven Sky on the left. And then one in the middle, I think is a Tokotoro. Or actually could be somebody else. I can't remember. These people need to put their signatures a little bit better so I can
When
see.
I saw the name for that cover, it was new to me, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Oh, Nagi-san.
Yeah,
It's
that's what I said.
Nagi-san.
New.
Nagi-san. Which one is the Tokitoro? Oh, the one on the right is the Tokitoro. Nagi-san and Tokitoro. Okay. And then The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 1, is supposed to be your first appearance in this one.
The one on. Oh yeah, it's both of them. Is that Bermejo a 1 in 25?
Yes, sir. Well, is it
Yeah,
a 1 in 25? I don't think so. Let me check. Uh,
because it's kind of dope.
So here's what's interesting. I'm looking at it right now, and I do not see any incentives for the giant size Amazing Spider-Man number 1 right now
Mm.
at Diamond at least. That's interesting.
Yeah, because that's some bullshit, dude. If they don't, I thought they'd been dropping at least a 1 in 25, something on every title, damn near.
All right, here we go with Ultimate Black Panther number 17. The one on the left is your Yasmin Putri. It's a 1 in 25. And then the one on the right is a Karen Darbo variant.
Yeah, that Darbo is pretty.
You got some Peach Momoko action in the middle there, and then the one on the right, that is your design 1 in 10 variant.
Hey, hold on, dude. That the one far left, Momoko did that too.
Did she? No, the one on the left, Diwali.
Okay, yeah, because that thing is dope. I like that one a lot. And Peach is okay too. It's just
Chad K says that I'm going to start a new new show called The Cover Fucker Upper. Yeah, I've been thinking about a section just like that. Just start a section and why this cover is fucked up, and just talk about that shit. Larry Joe says Nike-san's first cover work, and then why is his web shooters on the outside of his costume? Sure. Um, this one is the 1 in 10 my Peach Momoko. This middle one is the Corn Howl Ultimate Special Variant. Very weird, very strange. You got the mouth, you got the eyes and the tentacles and stuff. You know,
I'm not gonna lie, I like it though, dude.
yeah.
It's
Just
dope.
what I if you don't think that people are watching this fucking show, just go back and see how many tentacles, weird eyes, and anime shit have all of a sudden popped up on the scene ever since I started talking about it. Way more, man. They're like, oh, Lucas likes fucking tentacles and shit. We'll watch this motherfucker. And here we go. Even got the freaking weird Japanese weird eye. Now the fucking shit going into the fucking mouth. That's something else. That's crazy. But then the one on the right here, that one is a Miguel Mercado.
That is fire too. I like the black and white with the red, dude. I don't know why, but whenever I see those three colors, I usually assimilate that shit to fashion, and with the way they're
Mhm.
dressed, it makes sense for this one.
I think I got to get the 1 in 20. Is there a 1 in 25 for this one? Yeah, the Diwali is a 1 in 25.
Yeah, I figured as much.
All right, here we go with Eddie Brock Carnage. Hey, looks like a Derek Chew, maybe? Not sure. But the one on the right, that's one that's by Juan Ferreira. Phoenix number 12, you're Lucas Wernick. Excuse me, Nito Diaz. Magic, issue number 6. The one in the middle is by Pablo Villalobos. The one on the left, that one's by Anan Ramacharona. Kind of have a hint of Stephanie, or excuse me, kind of have a hint of J. Scott Campbell. But then the one on the right, that's your Betsy Koala, or Koala. Kind of like them all.
Yeah, definitely the one in the middle though. The Lobos is so dope.
Exceptional X-Men number 10. That one's by Federica Mancini. And there is a Matteo Alali variant with Emma Frost on there, but it was like, it's okay. Deadpool kills Marvel U one last time. Really like the one in the middle by Paratone or Paratori. The one on the right's not half bad either. Avengers Academy. Or excuse me, there's Avengers Academy and then there's New Champions as well. And then the one on the right, that's a Kid Juggernaut cover. Deadpool Wolverine. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Saban Bianchi, but not his best work. But there is a spoiler variant. All right, moving on to Massive. Vampire Rockabilly, I Like Popeye. There is a Army of Darkness homage in the middle. And then I forget who did that one in the middle, but all these freaking covers are actually freaking amazing. Love them. I'm going to end up picking up all three of these. Are they in census? Nope. Oni. Sets Gun Road to 6-0. There's an adventure. Time went crazy with it. Plague House issue number 3. That one I'm going to pick up just for the read. Critical Entertainment has a new book out called Warrior Spirit. Here's your red devil Mephisto type character there.
Yeah.
For DC, Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. Nothing special about that, but there is a cover E by Young. Absolute Spider-Man, Absolute Superman issue number 8. That one I'm going to pick up just for the read because they just introduced Absolute Brainiac, and the way they did it was absolutely freaking really good, really just fantastic, really good read. There's some Poison Ivy, and we're gonna bring up. So there we go with the one on the left, Poison Ivy, issue number 34, a Tran and Gwen card stock. But then also the one right there in the middle, right there, that is a Joshua Swaby. Kind of has me wondering where the fuck are those lines coming from? Ivy, what the fuck are you doing with this little girl? What the fuck is Harley? All right. Resurrection Man, Quantum Karma. I am not reading this book, but I do kind of like the look of this one by Jeff DeCal.
And it looks like some Kill Bill shit or something.
Yeah.
I think it's just the yellow that's making me feel like that.
And then there's a cover B by Alvaro Martinez Bueno. It looks like a dude coming out of no, a vagina, but all right, weirdness. Robin and Batman, Jason Todd, issue number one. The one that I did really like, I thought was kind of interesting, was the 1 in 25 by John McCree.
Yeah, I like that, dude. That's fire.
Yeah, and there's also a Jeff Lemire. I think yeah, it's good. It's written by Jeff Lemire, so you know it's going to be good, right? There's also a Ralph Albuquerque, but the cover is not anything to write home about. For Image, we got some GI Joe Real American Hero issue number 317, issue number 2 of Lost Fantasy, and then Monkey Beat number 4 as well as Oz. Spawn number 365 is going to be on FOC, and then there's a I don't think I have it on here, but Spawn Scorch number 41, cover B by Randall and Rockefeller. Here's your G.I. Joe American Hero number 317. Really good color splotch on this one. There's your 365 by Spears for Spawn. That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it's dope as shit. I like that cover actually.
Looks like I just ran out of FOC stuff to talk about. So
You want to pull up the website real quick and can run over next week?
yes, sir.
And speaking of Godzilla, they also dropped a new teaser trailer. I guess that gave people a little bit more insight on the movie to come. But we got Godzilla, um, Kong, Supernova coming, and they dropped the teaser for it this past. I think it was yesterday, actually. But we got our first teaser trailer for that movie, and I'm looking forward to it. I watched the breakdown over at Emergency Awesome, and he said that we could possibly have Space Godzilla as the villain for this upcoming film.
Did you
So
say Space
Space
Godzilla?
Godzilla, bro, yeah, based off of the old show, you know.
I don't know what you're fucking talking
Yeah,
about.
dude, if you
You might as well be saying be talking about Space Jason or, or Space
dude,
Freddy Krueger or
if
some shit to me.
if I'm not mistaken, don't we have Space Jason?
Yes, that's what I'm
I mean, he's
saying.
fucking
Like what the
dead
fuck?
now, but um, that I felt the same way, but if you go over to Emergency Awesome and check out that video, he got into it based on the character title, and I guess he's watched all that old Godzilla stuff, so. But he, mentioned that Space Godzilla would probably be the next villain for that coming up. So
Okay. All right, here we go, and we are talking about the stuff that is coming out next Wednesday. Actually, let me make sure the date is correct. Oh, Diamond,
just
are
go
you
to
fucking up again?
well, you can click it on there. So, but I was thinking about going to I guess Midtown. Just run into
Yeah,
that
because
show.
Diamond does not have their shit together as usual.
Shout out to Afro SF Ian's IANZ Comics 78, all the way in the UK.
These motherfuckers are joking. Gotta be joking. All right. 514. All right, let's
There's some
start with.
really nice books this week too, by the way, before we get into this.
All right, let's start in alphabetical order. Dark Horse. Talking about Huck again, just for the art. Let me give a shout out to Jay Martin, man. Freaking that. I know people can't see it, but really well, but it's a banger right there, man. Freaking dude walking up to a huge ass fucking heart. That's pretty freaking dope, man. Let's see. Oh, and then Sister Imperator issue number 3. That one's coming out this week.
Hmm.
I think issue number 1 and 2 have at least issue number 2 sold out. Um, the covers by John Mayer for Usagi Yojimbo have been really good. People have not been buying them though, and you can't fuck around with me.
Jennifer Meyer.
As a
I'm
Jennifer
wondering,
Meyer,
like, is that his fucking
uh,
wife or something?
or
Or
as a daughter. I think somebody said it was his daughter.
well, it's dope. Shout out to James Critter. I think he posted a couple already, but that art is dope.
Absolute Batman first appearance of. I'm not sure if it's first appearance, first cover appearance of the son of Doctor Freeze, I believe.
Yeah,
Um,
first of this universe's Doctor Freeze
right,
cover appearance.
freaky. Not sure what's going on with this Aquaman issue number 5, cover B by Marcio Takara. Something in the solicit made me think of something. The solicit said Arthur's quest to save his people has hit a devastating dead end, but hope is not lost. Together with the wizard Arion, Aquaman must channel the incredible power of Thalassa, the Trilance Saber, to escape the dungeon barge descending into the blue and uncover the last desperately needed clue to save the people of Atlantis. But floating amongst all this blue appears to be a shimmer of green. So that to me indicates that there may be a first appearance of somebody in this new one. And then there's your Aquaman mashup cover.
And this is the first mashed up cover amongst this bunch that's coming out.
There's your Batman and Robin number 21, Juan Ferreira. Don't know why you got my boy Robin freaking tied up with a bunch of tentacles, but all right. This one is a great freaking cover because it actually makes me go, "What the fuck is this? What the fuck is going on with this book?" I gotta fucking read this book. Batman Dark Patterns number 6 by Hayden Sherman, and then that was the cover A, and then there's a cover B by Ashley Wood. Then Batman Legends of the Dark Knight Halloween Special Facsimile Edition number 1. Looks kind of dope.
Yeah, it's definitely is.
Can't believe this is still happening. DC versus Vampires World War 5 or V. Cover B by Danny Cardstock. Here's your Bjorn Berens.
That's dope.
Everybody's a fucking vampire nowadays.
And that Fire and Ice is sold out.
Who's it by? Dan Mora.
Yeah, it was fire, dude. I definitely like that cover as well.
Nobody fucking with Green Lantern. Supergirl Volume 8, Issue number 1, Sophie Campbell was good. Then there's a Stanley Art Germ. They need to stop letting him freaking draw it because it's fucking boring now. Gotta have a Pablo Villalobos, but my heart stays with, even though she looks too fucking skinny, this Josh from Middleton. And then maybe if you like stuff that's happening in the background, there's also a pretty nice Scott Forbes. I think this might be a 1 to 25. I think that's all for DC. I mean, the covers for DC are not bad at all. And they are starting to pull together some pretty good freaking stories and all, but I don't know. Uh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Nation issue number 6 by Pharaoh something or another. Let's see what the fuck is this guy's actual name. Oh, Pharaoh PE. Pharaoh PE. And then in the backup letters from Lita. Yeah, IDW didn't have much this week. Then from Image, you got Black Ritual Book of Nyx, issue number 1. Here's your second print. And then issue number 2 is coming out by Nat Jones. This one's kind of dope. Danny Earl's cover. The Energon Universe special issue number 1 is coming out. There's an 1 in 10 incentive by, Connor Hughes. But I think people might want to check out the Daniel Warren because there's all types of little Easter eggs in this cover. Here's your 1 in 25 by EJ Sue. And then there's a 1 in 15 or 1 in 50 by Tom Riley. We go with Exquisite Corpse issue number 1, cover A regular. And I'm kind of shocked that people have not been picking this up. The Michael Wash Polybad cover, for those that don't know, they are going to be allocated. I don't know how many are going to be actually printed, but I know that they put out a thing that these are going to be allocated. Maybe because 6.99 may be kind of a reach for a book you haven't read yet. So I get that. They didn't even put it out in Ashcan, which is kind of crazy. And then there's also a Jenny Frison stealth cover, which is $4.99.
This was my choice, and the 1 in 25. Yep. I don't know why, but I like this shit a lot, so I definitely picked one up.
Here we go with Geiger, issue number 14, cover B, variant German Peralta. We're gonna figure out more of like what the deal is with this lady. She's been pretty interesting so far. At least I think her first appearance was in Geiger number 9 or 10 or something like that. It's getting kind of hard to find the right one. Even the second print for issue number, it's either 10 or 11 that has her first appearance on the freaking cover. It's kind of freaking tough to find at a good price right now. Jack Cave says he's ordered those Lobos Magic covers. Let's go. The Geiger is dope. I love the concept, but unfortunately I've fallen off on reading it from the first volume. I need to get back into it, figure out what the fuck is going on. Da, da, da. Don't know what the fuck is going on here. I was a fashion school serial killer issue number 2.
Looks like
And
a damn near like Lady Gaga homage or some shit.
yeah,
That particular one, it just that's what came to mind the first time I saw it.
yeah, the cover C incentive Danny Death's playdate. And of course, the Invincible Universe Battle Beast issue number 1, the Otley and Annalisa. Then there's your cover B variant David Finch. There's your EJ Sue and yada yada, and it goes on and on and on. And then there's your 1 in 100, but there's also like a 1 in 2,000. It's 1 in 2,000 or 1 in 1,000
It's a
that's
one in one
signed.
thousand. The Ryan Otley.
Yeah,
It's a foil variant. He didn't show the Arthur Adams.
yeah.
That's the 1 in 25 and 1 in 50.
I'm sorry. Say again. Which one?
The Battle Beast. Two of the other covers that are nice is
Yeah.
that Cal New and the Arthur Adams 1 in 50.
Yep.
Both fucking dope.
So the interesting thing about the Battle Beast joints is, yeah, you can the retailers could go ahead and try and buy enough to qualify, or they can actually buy the blind bags, polybagged, and hope that the incentive that you want is in there. Of course, prizes the 1 in 1,000 and everything. I think Spidey Hunter mentioned in one of our chats that there was they were talking about they've sold 400,000
Hmm.
already, which is wild,
Yeah,
fucking wild.
and the craziest part about it is, I know shops with them still in stock for them to be selling like that. You know what I mean? But there have been some banger covers that have come out of some of these blind bags so far. So some reprints of old things, if I'm not mistaken. But overall, there's been some dope covers coming out of those blind bags.
Yeah, sure. King Spawn issue number 45. Randall. Spawn issue number 364 by Fed Melly. And what I'm scared of right now is that what's going to happen is one of these books is going to have the first appearance of what's her name, Shirley, right? Because Curse of Shirley is supposed to be coming out pretty soon, and she's had a first appearance as a little girl, but not necessarily the first appearance as Shirley, the crazy clown chick yet. And I'm scared that that'll come out in one of these other books before like the issue number 1 comes out. Transformers number 20, Dave Warren Johnson. And then there's supposed to be a spoiler variant that I don't have the art for yet. Oh, is this who is this? Is this David? Yeah, volume number 20. Excuse me, issue number 20. David Nakayama. Looks pretty damn good. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, I had this weird beep going on in my shit. And what is this? The Pi Par variant. Looks like it's a 125. World Tree still happening. This one's by Fernando Blanco. Anything else by Image?
Hold on 1 second. Give me a second, please.
Yep. All right, we got all new Venom #5. We're on the Marvel stuff right now. Daredevil #21. There's an Alex Ross. And there's also a Marvel television variant. Deadpool kills the universe. Nothing big. Looks like a Fantastic Four cover E facsimile by Ryan Brown. Not bad. Sold out though. 1 in 25.
Yeah, this is definitely another one to pick up too. That facsimile.
Yeah. Godzilla versus X-Men #1. One shot by Lee Garbey. Godzilla versus X-Men. I forget. Is this Raza? Nope. Torrin Clark. And then we go starting with Gwenpool issue #1. There's a Chad Hanlon. A lot of people were trying to order the Todd Knock, but unfortunately, I think there was also a store variant for it. Then there's your cover C variant, Ji Hung Lee. There's also a one in it's a 1 in 50 or a 1 in 100 for it. Here's your Guerrero variant. Also a Greg Land variant. Then there's your Godtail. I don't know, what was your favorite joint? Your
The
Godtail?
Jiyoung Lee, 1 in 100 this week. That
Mm.
cover is just fire. I definitely picked up the Godtail 1 in 25 and that the Doom facsimile.
Helverine issue #6 is also coming out. There's your Kendra Kunkalim.
And if I'm not mistaken, this is supposed to be his full first appearance. So
That's what I heard. And there's a 1 in 10 by Rafael Ayenko. Here's your Immortal Thor #23, Alex Ross. And then there's also a Maria Wolf.
I also picked one of those up too, because it was like, when do you ever see Maria Wolf on a cover? 1 in 25 for Thor. So definitely pick that up. Probably won't see that for a while, unless she's on the run.
Yep. There is a One World Under Doom #4, Adi Gradov. And in this one, this might explain why RB why Doom is on fire in the other cover. This one by RB Silver. Yeah, okay, that would make sense. Phoenix issue #11. There's your Lucas Wernick on the cover A. Then there's a Peach Momoko.
Yeah, hi. I placed an order for delivery, and the delivery guy, it seems like he didn't call me. He only texted.
Then there's your Red Hulk.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Yeah.
All right, and then there's your John Boy Myers, Spider Verse versus Venomverse issue number one. There's your Leslie Lurie. That one's pretty much the best one. There was a 1 in 100 for that one. Star Wars Jedi Knights issue number three, cover A by Raza. I'm going to be interested in reading this one. I don't think they're going back to the same storyline that was in issue number two because there was a first full. I don't want to say it's a first full, but the first like end story of this one particular character, and he put his hands all over freaking Yoda. So I want to see if they go back to that storyline or they just go off the rip and just go on to something else. And then there's your Torrent Clark, and then there was a 1 in 100 for that one. Thunderbolts. There's your Alex Ross. Ultimate X-Men number 15. There's a Peach Momoko. Who did this one? It's not bad. Stan Sakai dropping the frogs. About a year ago, these were actually pretty popular, and people were buying the shit out of these. This one has Uncanny X-Men number 14, and it's got a Marvel animation cover. There's also a Megan Hetrick variant cover of her in her kimono, and then this one, the cover E incentive Luciano Vecchio.
I definitely picked up one of these too, and the Megan Hetrick one.
Henrietta, yeah, Lady Henrietta. Okay, Wolverine cover C incentive by Javier Pina. It's okay. For the incentives, 2000 AD. Art by Nick Percival. Um, Archie Milestones number 29 Jughead superhero special. I'm not sure if this is the first Jughead as a superhero. I know we've already had Archie as a superhero, but I'm not tracking if Jughead has been a superhero before, so maybe something to check out and research later. Battle action. Some of these covers have been amazing. Written by Garth Ennis. And then first appearance of what's her name? What the fuck is this kid's name? Medusa Doom. That's what her name is. And Betty and Veronica Friends Forever Spy Girls number one. And here's a couple of covers. It's cover A and cover B. Dark Guards issue number one. Covered by Scott Scucci. This one looks like it's a 1 in 15. And then there's a Brian Level album variant cover. It's amazing as well. And then there's your Demon Type David Hill Human Blood variant cover with Satan scribbled all over the cover. Dick Tracy. For the read, Folk Tales of the Cryptids issue number 2 by Afterlight Comics. Grim Fairy Tales presents issue number 5, the Hat Man cover. And then there's also a uh, a risque cover for the Hatman for their Grim Fairy Tale presents Grim Tales #5. Hot Valley Days. I believe this is issue #1. And then sold out for Mine is a Lonesome Grave, issue #4. Matthew Roberts. This one was a 1 in 10.
And go back to that I Heart Skull Crusher. They sold out instantly, especially that the version for free.
Yeah, but is anybody actually reading this shit?
I don't know, dude, but I know that they sell out every single time they go up. I know that it kind of went down after like maybe issue 4 or 5 a little bit, and then I think like last issue and this issue they have sold out like that. And me personally, I think it's more or less for the art. This is by Paulina Ganache, but she's like another one of my favorites when it comes to colors and all that, like Rian Gonzalez. But like I said, it sold out instantly. Sold out so fast that I literally watched mid followed.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. What else we got? This one is a maybe you should think about picking up. Money Shot, Bing Bang, issue #1, with Patton Oswalt and Tim Silly on the freaking cover. You can't tell me that you've never seen Patton Oswalt at a freaking Comic Con. Um, definitely believe if you came up to him with this one, he would definitely pretty much fucking sign this one. So this one is a must for me. Um, kind of like this one, even though it's Zenoscope Myth and Monsters Spring 2025 #1. Pastime issue #2. Sickness. Can't believe that one's still going on. That one's on issue #7. Stay Awake issue #3. It's gonna be out. Um, there's Toxic Avenger pinup special #1 by Fred Harper with Toxic Avenger trying to take a bathroom break. Don't know why dude's got to be fucking sausage glazing like that, but all right. That is not okay. That's not okay, guys.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
When I Lay My Vengeance Upon Thee, issue #4 by Jacob Rebelka. I want to give out a shout out to these guys who are grinding and hustling at most of these Comic Cons, just trying to get their, trying to get their stuff to light. They are true actual jiu-jitsu black belts that wrote this freaking book by Icon Heroes Zujitsu Fighters issue #2. They've got two covers: a regular Nito Diaz cover and a Wade King variant cover. Oh, actually, they've got more than that. They've also got the sweet El Garza cover, and this one's sold out. And then they've also got one by Ali Koze, and one sold out as well. Got quite a few covers. Uh, let's just a. Okay, looks like we're just in the trade paperbacks for the indies now, and then lastly, see if Dynamite had anything. Oh, yep, there goes Daddy Captain Planet, Mark Spears, $4.99. Darkwing, and then Giant Size Black Erases issue number 1, cover F limited edition by Listener. That one, I don't know if it was a 150, but it was $50.
It
That
was
one
just
sold out already.
the Virgin.
So it's just regular $50.
Yeah, Virgin cover. Dynamite does that a lot lately. They always put out their covers, and then like the following week, they always have that Virgin one of the one you actually want up there. Yeah.
Yeah. The original Catwoman, Miss Fury with Green Hornet, issue number 5. Herculoids, more Red Sonja attacks. Red Sonja versus the Army of Darkness, Mark Spears. It's 150. I would have to see this Nicole Jelinek in person. If there's anything else that's good in here? Nah. I do like this bloody Bjorn Burns. Uh, Silverhawks, cover J, Lucia Perillo. Who's this? Mannix? Yep. Silverhawks, cover G, variant Mannix cover. Sold out. I believe this Space Ghost, issue number 11, that one's a Francesco Montina. It's got a dank. This one, Terminator, cover G, the metal premium Declan Shelby. This one's usually $100. They actually gave people a discount, $10 off. Went for 90, still sold out. Kind of like this Declan Shelby. Thundercats lost number 2. I don't know. I don't think you know anything about Thundercats, do you? Because I'm wondering who the fuck this character is.
I've never seen him before. I'm not deep into Thundercats, but I do know like the pretty much main characters like that, and I've never seen him before.
Huh. No, whatever it is, the cover U is sold out. And that brings us to the end. Um, let's see. Can we get the wheel working? Trash. All right, Eddie Weir's not here, so we're good to go. All right, here we go. I do have some stuff from the Battle Beast that I will be giving away. So if your name comes up, please hit me up on my Instagram. Make sure you follow, hit me up, and then they'll coordinate getting your address and everything so you can get the get whatever the prize is. Comments. People can look at my ding ding all they want. What? All right.
Yeah, he said that back when we were looking at that Toxic Avenger book
Okay. Yeah.
to bring some context to it.
All right. Let's see. All right. Here we go. Spinning the muffin wheel. All right, Mika. Freaking. If you've seen this, please hit me up on my Instagram, and then we will coordinate getting you the package. Um, Not going to be big, but well, depends on what's in it. Depends on what's in it. I don't even know what's in it yet, so we'll see. Um, what is the? Is there anything else that you wanted to bring up?
No, that was it, dude. Um, other than we can go through some stuff a little bit when we get closer to the Fantastic Four. I'll
Okay,
just save it for then. Um,
okay,
at least that'll give people a chance, prior.
sounds good, man. Sounds good. All right, once again, thank you to everybody that freaking stopped by to listen. I hope you have a great freaking week. Have a great Mother's freaking Day. Um, and let's keep it rolling. If you need anything, let us know. Movie theaters sell popcorn in small, medium, large. Okay. And your in his penis. Does that mean handful? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Eric Neiman. Hey, what's going on, Derek? What's yeah, we'll try and be back next week, man. Freaking and see what's going on. Freaking once again, thanks for hanging out with us. Peace. We're out.
For each man in his time, his pain, until he walks along the beach and sees his future in the water. A long lost heart within his reach. I haven't needed a book to walk.
Sometimes men take matters into their own hands. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
As you guys know, it is